If you enjoy this podcast summary, please consider subscribing. Rich Rolls and Adam Skolnick are back on the roll on podcast, discussing various topics, including the recent L fires and their personal experiences with it. They've relocated to a new headquarters, which will allow them to house other creators and have a collaborative community.
Adam Skolnick is happy to be back on the show and is working on a new project, which he's keeping under wraps for now. The conversation starts with a question from a listener, asking why they don't do roll-on more frequently.
Rich Rolls explains that the idea for roll-on was to provide an opportunity for him to share his thoughts and have a more relaxed conversation with Adam Skolnick. He also mentions that it's not as easy to prep for roll-on as he thought it would be, and that they have to be timely and of the moment. Adam Skolnick agrees that it's a good question and that people love roll-on because it's a more unfiltered version of Rich Rolls.
They also discuss their personal lives, including Adam Skolnick's 4.5-year-old son, and how he's enjoying being a stay-at-home dad.
Rich Rolls mentions that he's also enjoying the comforts of being a middle-aged man, including practicing his guitar and going to bed early. The conversation then turns to the recent LA fires, which have had a devastating impact on the community.
Adam Skolnick shares his experience of driving through the affected areas and seeing the destruction firsthand. He describes it as post-apocalyptic and overwhelming, especially when he saw the neighborhood where his son's school was located.
Rich Rolls mentions that he hasn't seen the damage himself, but he's been affected by the fires and has been helping out in the aftermath.
Adam Skolnick also shares his experience of being on a boat in the Santa Monica Bay, where he saw the coastline and the damage to the houses. He mentions that the water quality was surprisingly good, but the sight of the burned-out houses was still overwhelming.
Rich Rolls agrees that it's a lot to take in and that he's been feeling a sense of doom and uncertainty. They also discuss the rebuilding process and how it's going to take a long time. Rich Rolls thinks that it's going to be at least 10 years before things feel like they're back to normally.
Adam Skolnick agrees that it's going to be a long process and that many people are going to pull up sticks and move somewhere else. The conversation then shifts to the topic of billionaires, with Adam joking about his billionaire baseball cards and his admiration for Warren Buffett.
Rich Rolls notes that while he's not opposed to people accumulating wealth, he believes that those who are fortunate enough to do so have a responsibility to give back.
Adam shares his idea for a billionaire tax, where individuals with a net worth above a certain amount would be taxed at 100%.
Rich Rolls points out that this idea is not feasible, as the executive branch doesn't have the authority to repeal laws. The discussion touches on the chaos of the current decade, with Rich Rolls noting that he's torn between providing a safe harbor for his listeners and using his platform to speak truth to power.
Adam agrees that it's essential to find a balance between staying informed and avoiding the anxiety-producing news cycle.
Rich Rolls suggests that people curate their media diet, engage in self-care, and know their triggers to emotionally regulate during this challenging time. He also shares his experience interviewing Jim Weber, the former CEO of Brooks Running, who turned the company around after it was on the verge of bankruptcy. Adam Skolnick notes that Warren Buffett is his favorite billionaire, and Rich Rolls jokes that Adam has a whole altar dedicated to billionaires. They discuss the importance of developing resilience and approaching conflicts with an open-minded and curious mindset, much like a scientist. This mindset allows individuals to hold their ideas loosely and be willing to be wrong, which is essential in today's fast-paced and ever-changing world.
Adam shares his tried-and-true tactic for dealing with overwhelming situations: show great concern and do nothing. This approach involves taking a step back, assessing the situation, and not acting impulsively.
Rich Rolls agrees, noting that many people get agitated and engage in self-harm by reposting or replying to things that trigger them. Instead, he suggests doing something tangible in the real world to address the issue.
Adam notes that even when trying to solve a problem, new issues can arise in unexpected ways.
Rich Rolls agrees, citing the example of RFK's efforts to take on big food and big pharma.
Adam emphasizes the importance of understanding the dissonance that arises from the complexities of the world. He notes that not everything is bad and that there are often multiple perspectives and factors at play.
Rich Rolls agrees, suggesting that it's essential to approach problems with a scientist's mindset and consider the potential consequences of one's action. The conversation shifts to the topic of psychedelics, with Rich Rolls sharing his personal experience with a combination of MDMA and psilocybin. He describes the experience as profound and life-changing, noting that it helped him to heal childhood trauma and find a sense of oneness with the universe. Adam Skolnick is fascinated by Rich's story and notes that love is a word that can't be fully described, but is a feeling that can be deeply experienced. Rich Roll's experience with psychedelics was a turning point in his life, allowing him to confront his fears and limitations. He notes that the experience was both exhilarating and terrifying, taking him to the edge of madness and forcing him to confront the possibility that his entire life may have been an illusion. Despite the challenges, Rich Rolls emerges from the experience with a newfound sense of wonder and awe, grateful to be back in his physical body and able to appreciate the beauty of the world around him. He describes it as a kind of ego death, where he felt like he was simultaneously in Interstellar and Inception, with multiple realities available to him.
Adam Skolnick notes that this experience can be transformative, but it's not something that can be replicated or relied upon. He shares his own experiences with psychedelics, which led him to a sense of oneness with the world. However, he also notes that it's not a tool to be used to deal with reality on a daily basis, but rather a scope that allows you to gain insight and then move forward.
Rich Rolls talks about the importance of being mindful of the potential risks and downsides of psychedelics, and how some people can become addicted to the pursuit of ego death and disabusing themselves of the illusion of self. He also notes that it's not something that he's advocating for or against, but rather sharing his own experience. The conversation then shifts to the topic of Adolescence, a Netflix limited series that explores the themes of identity, trauma, and social commentary. Rich Rolls praises the show for its exceptional storytelling, character performance, and technical proficiency.
Adam Skolnick shares his own experience of watching the show, which he found to be emotionally devastating and riveting.
Rich Rolls notes that the show's co-creator, Stephen Main, learning from video. They discuss various topics, including the recent wildfires, the challenges of rebuilding and moving forward, and the importance of engaging with uncertainty. They also touch on the topic of billionaires, with Adam joking about his billionaire baseball cards, and Rich noting that those who accumulate wealth have a responsibility to give back. The conversation also delves into the world of psychedelics, with Rich sharing his personal experience with a combination of MDMA and psilocybin. They also discuss the Netflix limited series Adolescence, which explores themes of identity, trauma, and social commentary. The conversation also touches on the importance of parenting in the digital age and the challenges of navigating the complexities of adolescence. Rich and Adam also discuss the TV show White Lotus, which explores themes of identity, culture, and spirituality. They offer advice on how to get unstuck when feeling stuck, emphasizing the importance of taking action and changing one's perspective. Key takeaways include the importance of engaging with uncertainty, the need for a more nuanced understanding of the challenges faced by young men, and the importance of taking action to get unstuck. The conversation is a thought-provoking exploration of various topics, offering insights and advice for listeners. If you are interested to listen to complete 14-minute summary and unlock detailed insights for each topic discussed in the video, check out quick podcast summaries on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with free trial and later, just for the price of candy. Happy listening.